Karma? What exactly is it, and what kind of impact can it have on your life? Karma has been discussed throughout history in various religious doctrines and occult writings. It is a topic with many misunderstandings. Let's take a break from the traditional mold of karma, and explore it for what it really is. Karma, put simply, is the cumulative positive or negative result from your thoughts, actions, and reality creating as that result affects your present reality. Karma is your own personal look into the reality mirror and the seeing of the inner you expressing itself within time and space. Time is an important factor here, because the human karmic wave is on a 7-year cycle. Which means, every 7 years your general circumstances will change to reflect your actions from your previous 7 years. So, if you were kind to others 7 years ago, your current reality will reflect that quality. Others will be kind to you. I hope you can see the implications here, positive and negative. Any cumulative negativity that you inflict on yourself or on others will rebound back at you 7 years later. You reap as you have sown is a phrase that expresses karma very nicely and precisely. For example, the careless farmer who tosses seeds anywhere and abuses his land will yield a poor crop. The initial effort becomes wasted later when the seeds grow into small, fragile plants that scoff him as he walks by. However, the conscientious farmer, who cares and watches his seeding intently and treats it kindly, will reap a bountiful harvest showing all the fruits of his labor. So, too, it is with karma. A good, caring life will be rewarded 7 years later with a good caring reality. An abused, hateful life will rebound 7 years later with an abused, hateful reality. The trap with karma is the delay between cause and effect. You can, for example, be very giving to others over a 7-year period, so that in the next 7-year period others are very giving back to you. Now, during this giving karmic manifestation period, you can change your attitude and treat others selfishly, and others will still tend to treat you kindly. The karma of the giving cycle has not yet expired. This action can give you the false impression that it does not matter whether you are selfish or giving to others because, whatever you do, people seem giving toward you. However, you will find out soon when that second 7-year cycle is over, that your wonderful reality no longer exists and the people around you, who were once giving to you, are now acting selfish toward you. Your reality is now mirroring back at you the new karmic wave of your past behavior. Unfortunately, most people will not connect the consecutive 7-year periods and their cause and effect, because of the delay between karmic formation and karmic manifestation. It is difficult enough to remember what you did last week, much less 7 years ago. However, the system, despite your inability to keep track of your behavior from a decade ago, still works. Usually it is the reflected 7-year period itself, of the negative pattern back at you, that makes you sick of that pattern and you begin to eliminate it from your life permanently. Unfortunately, by this time you have already begun to build the next 7-year karmic wave. As a result, you may have to wait through a second 7-year period, before you can reap the benefits of your new karmic pattern. The farmer, who ceases to abuse his land will not see a bountiful harvest right away. His land will take time to recover from the damage caused by the abuse and misapplication of farming principles. In other words, it will take time to reverse a negative karmic wave that is already in the building stages anywhere from 4 to 14 years. Now, you can avoid this karmic trap by understanding the ground rules of karma and respecting its purpose. That purpose, of course, is to help instill within you the ideas behind good consciousness toward yourself and others. It may seem fun to be destructive and oppressive to others, but those aspects are not much fun when they are forced upon you, as they will be with the return of your karmic wave. Understanding that what you do today can come back to you several years later can be a great ally and motivator toward fostering a positive, kind reality. For example, by giving to others, today, you ensure that in the future and the next 7-year cycle others will be giving to you. Continuing this giving attitude into the next 7-year cycle will further accelerate this giving back to you, and ensure that you and your reality are always kind. You may have noticed that, thus far, in this chapter, we've talked more or less about unwanted karma, and have not talked about karma, that is pleasant or productive to your reality. Both kinds of karma always exist in your reality. I'll bet that most of you don't ever think about karma being pleasant or productive, do you? Karma is most often associated with the negative quality of life, because it is those negative qualities that you tend to remember. Sadly. And this is something you must change. If you fall into this category, pain is the final equalizer and lesson setter for those people that cannot and will not learn by any other way. Now, karma can be very positive in nature, and that outlook is the proper way to view karma. For instance, the condition of good health is the byproduct of a karmic wave too. A healthy attitude toward yourself and others generates a karmic wave of health for yourself over the next 7 years. Also, keeping in mind that karma can be positive will help you to more quickly weed out any negative attitudes or ways, and have you creating more of those positive aspects in your life. Weeding out those negative aspects in your life does not mean focusing on them to the exclusion of all else. You also need to recognize all those positive karmic patterns that you possess as well, otherwise you will never know the positive side of karma, and always look at it as the great oppressor, instead of the great liberator as it really is. Now, you may be wondering about negative acts and karma from a previous lifetime. How does it affect your present incarnation? Some people say that a person is thrust into unpleasant situations in this life because of the karma of a previous life. This kind of thinking is not correct. You are never held back in the present lifetime by something done in a previous lifetime. Rather, it is the carrying over of negative behavior from that previous lifetime that generates the unpleasant karma in the new lifetime. In many cases, as a child, the soul begins to manifest unpleasant, negative aspects from a previous incarnation almost immediately into the present incarnation. This action begins to form his or her 7-year karmic cycle based on that behavior. By the age of 7, a child is building his/her next karmic wave, and living out some of the karmic wave that came from the early developmental years. Say from the age of 4 on upward. Even infants begin to build a karmic wave, though that wave is not noticeable, because it does not show itself in regular physical ways. Infants, for the most part, are still experiencing their primary reality in the non-physical, and much of their early karmic wave will be played out in the non-physical. Also, thinking logically about it, karmic waves reaching from a previous life into a present life are just not practical. There is no need for an individual to re-experience some unpleasant karma once he or she has learned the lesson from that karma. Such a practice would make the karmic system of development ineffective and oppressive. Usually, when a person spends an entire lifetime experiencing a particular unpleasant aspect, it is because they, 1. failed to learn that particular karmic lesson in the previous life, and carried that pattern over, repeating that pattern in the present life, or 2. because they have come to desire this negative aspect, as unpleasant as it may be, and seek it in the present life, creating it over and over again. In the first case, it is a matter of repeating the same pattern in the new life. Nothing is reaching from beyond the grave of a previous life and into the present. You are just creating the same karmic waves that you did in the previous life, but doing it now. In the second case, the individual is unable to create a life without that negative, unpleasant aspect, because that individual is dependent on the goodies from that negative, unpleasant aspect. For example, many people seek unhealthiness because they have grown dependent on the attention from others that this aspect draws into their lives. Here, karma has little to do with the unpleasant, negative situation that is being recreated over and over. It is the individual himself that is creating that unpleasant situation on a daily basis. Let's take a moment to examine how a karmic wave gets formed. A karmic wave creates in a very mechanical way. Your actions, thoughts, and reality creating manifest an energy echo from each creative act, be it constructive or destructive in nature. Naturally, this energy echo contains similar blueprints to its original, but this energy echo is very minimal, and does not possess sufficient energy on its own to do any reality creating. However, the energy echo is keyed to your or a pattern having been created by you and hangs around. These energy echo patterns eventually fall into an out-of-time context, and lay dormant until enough of them can group together, to reappear into the physical system. In the physical system, that period is about 7 years. These low-level energy patterns will take 7 years to achieve a sufficient energy level, before being drawn back into the physical system. Once this conglomeration of energy reappears into the physical system, it enters the person's aura and replaces the old, fading karmic pattern. Now the person begins to create the energy pattern of the new karma while, again, creating a karmic echo pattern for the next cycle. When a karmic wave becomes part of your aura, it predisposes all of your thoughts and actions toward those aspects that the pattern contains. You can't help but to pull these kinds of events toward you, because your energy contains a great deal of these qualities. If these qualities are positive and pleasant in nature, you will draw toward you a positive and pleasant reality. All of your actions will have a positive and pleasant bent, and that mindset will naturally gravitate you toward those situations and people. On the other hand, if that karmic wave is negative and unpleasant, you will naturally gravitate negative and unpleasant events toward you. You can see, again, the glory and the trap of the system. A positive, pleasant karmic wave will help your reality to become more positive and pleasant. A negative, unpleasant wave will help your reality to become more negative and unpleasant. The key, naturally, to freeing yourself from a negative, unpleasant karmic wave is to begin to build a new positive, pleasant karmic wave. You should immediately stop any activity or mindset that is destructive or abusive to others or yourself. The second part of this process is patience. You must give your reality and your new karmic wave the time to build and take its place within your aura. Hurrying will not get you there any faster, but delaying will just push off your positive, pleasant reality even longer and will have you reaping a negative, unpleasant reality for that much longer. Remember that we are talking about karmic patterns plural. The karmic wave that surrounds you is a complex energy pattern made of every aspect of your life. Wealth, prosperity, friendship, etc. are all components of one karmic wave. Change only those components that are destructive to yourself and others, leave the ones that are constructive to yourself and others. Also, your thoughts as well as your actions should be guarded. By not acting on a negative or destructive impulse, you've taken the first step. However, the second step is to eliminate the thought of that impulse from your mind. You see, thoughts carry with them their own form of karmic wave. For example, if you always think, but never say that everyone around you is stupid, 7 years from now everyone will think you are stupid and never tell you. You can see the twisted irony in this example, can't you? It would be better to eliminate the thought that everyone is stupid right from your mind, that way 7 years from now you won't be held back in your reality, because everyone thinks you are stupid.